Now, Shaun Torrente thought he had his first win in 2016, taking the lead away from his ex-teammate Alex Corella last year here on lap 9, only to make a mistake. And he had to fight his way back, but he made it to the podium in third. Here's Gemma with the Florida driver known as the Alien.
Okay, so Shaun, we're going to first of all talk about Portugal. I felt for you in Portugal. You were on pole, you were leading by a lot. You had a huge lead for probably the first 10 laps, and then you lost your engine basically. How confident are you this time in the whole package you have going into racing?
You know, as a driver, sometimes you're never really confident on the motor and things like that because that stuff's kind of out of your control. You're just paid to drive the boat. You know, I feel better here than I did in Portugal because we know a lot more about the fuel, we know a lot more about the setup in general, and we've done a lot of testing in Italy to make sure. So, you know, people like Sammy Celio aren't really a threat anyways because they're a bunch of, you know what, see, I knew he was going to stop. I knew it. Celio,
Sammy! Is this a bit of psychological warfare going on now?
It can't happen. It's Kimi Räikkönen. He's always angry. He's only happy if he's unhappy. So, anyways.
Okay, so in terms of psychological preparation, specifically here, I mean, if we look back to last year, you made a very costly mistake. How are you feeling ahead of this event in terms of making mistakes?
Oh, you know, it's like anything. It's risk versus reward. You know, last year I wouldn't have had the lead if I didn't take a big risk and make a pass on Corella. So it came back to bite me a few laps later. I probably should have dialed it back a little bit more than I did. That was a mistake on my part. But then on the other hand, I had to do a drive-through and come from, I think, 9th or 10th or something. Baba stinks. Anyways.
so much friendly banter here. I love it. I love it.
Yes. So anyways, the more that I have now is really good in the rough water. And I went back to 9th, and I was able to drive all the way right back to the podium. So, and if we had a restart, I think I could have won the race still. So, you know, it's like anything. You go out there and you try to do the best you can. And the difference with this place than most, as a professional in most places, I can tell you with about 95%, almost 100%, that I'm going to be able to finish this race without crashing. Unless, you know, 2 boats or things like that. But I'm talking about just getting around the race course. In a place like this, it's not like that. You know, those percentages are less. I always say you're going to get around there going hard a certain number of times, and that there's a cap on that. So you don't want to use them up all in testing or in qualifying because you're going to need them in the race.
There we go. Now, somewhere like this, risks will have or could have big repercussions. Is that something you're thinking about?
When you're standing here talking to you, yes. When you're in the boat, no. You make decisions, you know, you have tenths of a second to make a decision, and sometimes that decision doesn't work. But sometimes it does, and when it does, it works. And you know what? I mean, people don't like to admit it, but racing a lot of times comes down to a little bit of luck. You know, I've lost 2 world championships because of stupid failures on the boat. You know, I'd be a 2-time world champion if I didn't have one wire break on one and a switch go bad on another. So, you know, you hope that evens out over time. And I should have won this race 2 years in a row, so maybe I'm due. Or maybe I'll end up in the water. Who knows?
Please don't end up in the water. All right, there we go. I said it to Francesco. I'll say it to you. Be safe, and we really look forward to seeing what you guys can do tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Boys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Gemma. Shaun Torrente looking for his 5th career victory with 4 World Speed Champion.